I try not to watch the news. And do you watch it? What happens to you? If it's anything like what happens to me, then you understand. I'm not going to be going into detail, although I am quite compelled. Quite compelled. I brace for impact. Every time I learn of news of the world, I have friends in remote countries, and they are glued to their screens, awaiting news of the world, awaiting news of any kind of import. Meanwhile, I hunker down. I hunker. I hunker. If you've seen what I've seen, if you've felt what I felt, known what I've known, you would be hunkering too. Hunker down. Hunker, hunker, hunker. I give people personal instruction on how to hunker down. They pay me $5,000 a month to teach them how to hunker down. I have a whole range of clientele, a roster of multifarious individuals, quite talented in their own right. What they have in common is a need to hunker down. Now, if that's you, you can send me an email. I don't talk to people over the phone. It's not hunkered enough. When you want to hunker down, don't give people access to you. When you're hunkered, you're bunkered. But I do make exceptions. Some people are special. Some people are like jellyfish. I know. You're wondering how I came up with that image, that analogy. People who hunker down are like jellyfish. They're nettlesome. Nettles are the stingers on the tendrils. So a nettlesome person has nettles, and they sting you. They're like a jellyfish. And these are the people that hunker down. You can imagine a jellyfish hunkering in the sea. The thing about jellyfish, people don't understand jellyfish. Much like they don't understand octopi. I understand them. I understand jellyfish and octopi. I don't understand whether jellyfish has a fascinating plural, like jellyfy, as does the octopus in octopi. But I do know people who hunker down have a special kinfish. Did I just say that? Am hunkering so deeply. Excuse me, sir. I couldn't help but notice. What is it that you could not help but notice? You are exquisitely hunkered. If you don't say. Sir? Immaculate. Thank you. May I know how long you've been hunkered down? How long I've been hunkered down? Oh, that's a little bit of a personal question, don't you think? Sir? It is a personal question, but game recognizes game. I've been hunkered down 25 years. Going on 26 years. Well, of course, sir. Of course, only natural that you'd be going on 26th after being hunkered down for 25. Oh, well. Not necessarily, not to quibble with you. I'm very thankful for your recognition, your compliments. Some people give up after 25 years. I only know 3 or 4 people who've remained hunkered down after 25 years. So you can call me Norman, by the way. My name is Norman. I'm one of the pioneers, if you will. Oh, Norman. No need to tell me who you are, sir. No need. I have been following your work for a while, Norman, so thank you. The pleasure is mine. My name is Jordan, and I've been hunkered down for, well, not so long, but Jacob has been hunkered down for 20 years, Norman. I'm on your heels, sir. Just like the proverbial jellyfish, there I am, all nettlesome, stinging everybody in my path. Oh, I'm a big fan. I am a big fan. Thank you, Norman, for the work that you do, for how you serve the community. We are all better hunkerers because of it. Sir, and I came here with my wife. Yes. Came here with my wife, Nancy. Now, Nancy, I met her when I was maybe a little too nettlesome, truth be told, a little too stingy. Nancy, don't go into detail. Just say hello to Norman. Hello, sir. Hi. Hello. I am such a big fan. I am such a big fan. Jacob could tell you I've been hunkering for quite a while. I am so hunkered down. And I know, I'm not supposed to be bragging about it, but, well, I haven't been hunkered down as long as my husband, of course. Jacob is, well, he's just on your heels, and there's not many people who are more hunkered down. Well, we're coming out with our Hunkered Down for Beginners book. We're still tweaking the title, right? But we've even changed our last name. Jacob and Nancy Hunker. May I know how that strikes you, sir? As one of the, if not the preeminent hunkerer in the world. Sir, I am so honored to be here talking with you. I mean, when Jacob told me that we were going to have a one-on-one meeting, oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Well, I mean, not that it matters, but $5,000 to speak with you. $5,000 a piece. Piece. I don't want to imply that it's just one payment of $5,000, but two payments because of you and what you bring to the world, Sir Jacob. Thank you for showing us the way. Thank you so much. Wow, Nancy, that's my wife, Norman. So bubbly, so enthusiastic. Ever since she learned how to hunker down, her life has changed. So yeah, we're working with various titles. Hunkering Down for Beginners, Idiot's Guide to Hunkering Down. I don't know. Do you have any suggestions? I'm just curious, Norman. I mean, as the man. Well, 101 Ways to Hunker Down. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, we might consider that. The Power of Hunkering Down. It could work. That's definitely possible, Norman. Thank you. That's a candidate. Those both are candidates. Thank you. Hunkering Down, an intimate portrait. Ooh, wow. Must say, that has a special je ne sais quoi. Norman, thank you so much. You know, I could go on forever. The Hunkadentalists. Let's see. The Heretics of Hunkering. Ooh, Hunkering and Mysticism. The Hunker Artist. Oh, that's it! If I do say so myself, Jacob, Nancy, the Hunker Artist. You see how we play? You see how we roll? Sir, that's it. Nancy? Mind blown. Yep. So, Jacob, Nancy, it's wonderful to speak with you today. What does hunkering mean to you? Well, Nancy, go ahead. Seems like you want to speak first. Hunkering, for me, it's like when you say in your video, which I have watched like 1,000 times, when we hunker down, we are that proverbial jellyfish. I love the way you put that, Norman. We're there, floating, but stinging, glowing. The vastness is our home. Yeah. Sometimes my husband gets a little bit jealous when I go into such responses. Yes, he does. I don't know what to tell him. Time flies when you're hunkering. Right? Time flies. You don't even pay attention to where you are, what you're doing, who you are, when you are, why you are, where you are. I might have said where already, but... yes, Nancy, thank you so much for sharing that with Norman. That's my wife. She's one of your biggest fans, Norman. Yes, I noticed. That's quite something. How about you, Jacob? Well, I am also a huge fan, of course, and we are, what we're trying to do is get all three of you, your different sections in the book. All three of us. Well, of course, Norman. Yes. The big three of hunkering down. We want all of your perspectives of what it means to hunker down. Okay. Yeah, so Jacob is your name, right? Yes. I might have to call this meeting short, thank you. So, hold on, wait a minute, hold on. Norman, is there something I said? Well, I do believe that if you're going to write any beginner's guide to hunkering down, I think you should just stick with one of us, not make it a three-part panel, as it were. One of us should be enough for a whole book. I mean, hunkering down is encyclopedic in its proportions, and so bringing us all, it's like too many cooks spoiling the broth. Oh, yes, well, thank you for that, Norman. I've already talked to Alec and Gustav. And, well, I really wanted something special for today when you agreed to meet, and so Alec and Gustav will be here. And they're going to... Well, I was just going to interview the three of you. If you're okay with that, I'm sure. I mean, it's water under the bridge, right? It's water under the bridge. You invited Alec and Gustav. Arranged a one-on-one meeting with me for $10,000. And you invited Alec and Gustav. They're imposters. Both of them. I don't know if they're in league with one another or not. No, Norman, I assure you, Alec and Gustav are not in league with each other against you, Norman. Listen, Nancy and I are like your biggest fans, but we want, because this is a beginner's guide, which we might call the hunker artist. Since this is a beginner's guide, we wanted a kind of a broad range, a palette of possibilities, so that those who are getting into hunkering down, they have a sufficient breadth of insight, so that when they hunker with different perspectives available to them. Like we look at hunkering, Nancy and I, and I know who I'm talking to, Norm. And I get it. I get it. But let's say someone comes to hunkering down for the first time, and they go, with Norman's perspectives, but Norman's perspectives on hunkering down aren't, they just don't, there's not a, you know what I mean? No, I don't. Would you agree, Norman, that not everybody hunkers the same? Of course, I'd agree to that. But everybody can learn to hunker correctly, hence the jellyfish. Understand? Oh, well, here we are. Alec, Gustav. I'm happy to see the two of you, and of course you know Norman and my lovely wife, Nancy. Hello. Norman. Alec. Hello, Norman. Gustav? Gentlemen? I think I'm going to start hunkering down right now. Of course. Norman, I will join you, as will I. Well, that's very kind of you, Gustav and Alec. Let's just hunker down together here a moment. It's been a while since we've hunkered together. Okay. Gentlemen, we've had our differences. Alec, you know that I respect you. As the hunkerer extraordinaire, the original hunkerer. So thank you for that, Alec. Gustav, as his protege, you are peerless. I'm grateful for you. And gentlemen, as you know, I needed to deviate. I don't know if the two of you are still in communication with one another, but of course I know that we are incommunicado. Meaning I'm incommunicado with both of you. I had this lovely meeting here with Jacob and his wife, Nancy. I did not know that you would be here. So I'm grateful we had a moment to hunker together. And I must say I am a little bit discomfited by your presence here, although I understand Jacob wants to write a beginner's guide to hunkering, which of course is very reasonable. It's long overdue, in fact. So, while you're here, we might as well make the best of it and have our little panel for Jacob and Nancy. Norman. Yes. Alec. You deviated from the fold. I did. Gustav and I were so happy that you were an heir apparent. Thank you for that, Alec, but, of course, Gustav was next in line. Yes, of course he was, but you were next after Gustav, Norman. were starting the Hunker Down World Tour and we needed you. I can't make every gig. I can't hunker down with millions of people every single day in every single major city of the world. I needed my right-hand man and, well, my second in charge, third in charge, however you'd like to phrase that. You left us high and dry. Norman. And I don't know if Hunkering Down actually is going to survive your departure, only because we had to make so many refunds. The second half of the world tour was canceled. So is that something you're going to be putting in your book? Jacob? This great jellyfish of ours? Boy, did we ever get stung. That's not what we meant when we made Hunkering Down analogous to the jellyfish. We didn't mean sting your mentor and his protege due to a difference of opinion. Norman. You have anything to say, Gustav? I miss you, Norman. Really? Yeah, I miss you. I was excited. You know, we're gonna license things. I was looking forward to teaching you everything that I knew. You left before I could do that, and well, it just saddens me. I have not found your equal. Norman. Alec and I are, of course, still working together a little bit. Less connected than before as a result of your departure. A little bit wary of each other, I suppose, and that's just the way it is. Yes, Gustav, it is that way. We just hunkered down differently ever since Norman's departure. Well, gentlemen, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is precisely what I want to capture in my book, our book. Sorry, Nancy. It's like how you three are now, where you're each coming from individually. You know? Right? Like Alec, you're the initial hunkerer. You hunkered down in a way that was unprecedented and historical. You set the trend. You were the one who was responsible for making Hunkering Down go viral. And then, it's like, Gustav, the way that you pick up what he was laying down and run with it in your own fashion and just kind of personalize it. And you give Hunker Down that kind of everyman dimension. Because he's that esoteric. Okay, everybody would admit that he's the esoteric and he had that first flash of genius that caught everybody's attention, but you're the one. And I mean, if I'm misrepresenting things, please let me know. But I would say it is Gustav who really was able to stabilize your viral breakthrough. Would you agree? Yes, that's a fair assessment. I don't think we'd be having this conversation if it weren't for Gustav. You have that flair. You're such a heart-centered jellyfish. And, yeah, I would agree. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Jacob. Well, actually, that's what Nancy said. Nancy really helped piece that together for me, because she was really in touch with Gustav's heart. This is a little bit hard for me, as I have my own stumbling blocks in the matter. When I think she developed a little bit of a crush on you, Gustav. The way that you hunker down is just, you hunker down like a hunk. Which of course brings us to you, Norman. Hunkering down like a hunk. Yeah. Well, thank you for that analysis, Jacob. I agree. Where I depart from the general consensus is that unless we can hunker down like hunks, then this is just mere intellectual affectation. We're hunkering down in name, we're hunkering down in gesture, we're hunkering down superficially, but are we hunkering down like hunks? Like real people? Everything's an affectation today. Everything's about views, capturing public attention, sensationalism, and yet hunkering down is ultimately, at its root, the antithesis of all that attention, whoremongering. Yes, I said it. Whoremongering. I hunker down like a hunk. I'm not in it for the other reasons, okay? This is why your book should be called The Hunker Artist. Or add a subtitle, Hunkering Down Like a Hunk. Whatever you need. Jacob, I am available. Because I do believe that things grow and evolve. Things grow, things evolve. Yes, they do. Now, while I have everybody's attention, we haven't spoken in some time, Alec. Good stuff. And I suppose, Jacob, Nancy, if you two want to take notes, maybe this conversation will get into your book at some point. Maybe if you find it of value. Are you saying that we are actually going to be treated to a conversation with the 3 original hunkerers? Babe, this is my dream. Of course. Oh my god. I'm so excited. Right now. Yes, I know. Okay, well, I do want to talk to you a little bit first. Gustav. Tell me what you see. But I'd like to know this from you as well. I would like to know from both Gustav and Alec what you see as the future. Alec, I'm going to start with you. Where are you going with this? How are you I want to know how you're hunkering down. you prepared to share that with the world now, or do you feel covetous and you're going to keep it to yourself? Of course, it doesn't make sense to keep it to yourself, right? This is a global movement. Everybody needs to know what you're doing. People who love what you've brought into the world still need guidance on a daily basis. People who are, using their Hunkering Down app, for example. Are they getting updates from you? From you, Gustav? I wouldn't say that I'm updating the app frequently, but yes, I do update my app. Do you gentlemen have an app? I haven't kept up. Do we have an app? For I cannot speak for Gustav, but having an app for Hunkering Down is innovative. I can't say that I'm necessarily drawn to that application of the app. How about you, Gustav? I've given it some thought, but I'm perfectly content to have Jacob be the sole possessor of the Hunkering Down app. Really? Gustav, why don't you come up with your own version? People need variety. Excuse me. Norman? Well, I was just having a conversation with the two originators. I'm a little nonplussed as to why you're interrupting us. Jacob, you said that you didn't want a variety. That you just wanted to be the sole focus of the book. Is that true, Norman? Yeah, Alec, I don't know if it's exactly the way that Jacob is telling it. Okay, so as much as I respect you, Norman, you are changing your tune. Now that Gustav and Alec are here, you wanted to be the sole focus of our beginner's guide to hunkering. And now you're sitting here reprimanding Gustav for not having an app, thinking about having an app. You're wanting more variety of perspectives, but you were chiding me. And I'm sorry, as much of a fan that I am, you just simply chided me, and now I don't understand why you have shifted your perspective just because Alec and Gustav have arrived. Okay. It's a fair point. Jacob, thank you. And I'm glad that you interrupted. I was being a little snooty about that, but I'm glad that you interrupted. Yes. They change me when they are around. I am a little bit affected, maybe perhaps the way that you, Jacob, and you, Nancy, are affected by me. Something happens and I just start to kind of... I don't know how to describe it, really. I respect these two so much, and I've been so hurt. Norman, you're like the prodigal son. How in the world could you be hurt? We were going to set the world on fire together. You, me, Gustav. Yeah, I really don't understand. Norman, what happened? Why did you defect from me and Alec? And we have not really pieced that together. I don't know how to explain it, gentlemen. felt overshadowed by your greatness. Here we are at a convention. You know, Jacob and Nancy, they purchased a little one-on-one time with me. Wanted to know my perspective on the whole phenomenon of hunkering down. Talked to me about being in their book. Great honor. Great honor. Thank you both. Yes, please. Thank you, sir. Yes, Nancy, I mean, you're so gracious. You and your husband. But I was a little bit taken aback by this idea of inviting Alec and Gustav and just making it a 3-part book. And then when they arrived, it's like all my childhood wounding. Yes, guys, there's some childhood wounding here. You know, hunkering down is great and all, but it doesn't heal the wounds from childhood. Maybe that's what it is about. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Norman, but this is a very inconsistent narrative, my friend. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what to do. I'm in your presence. Alec, and yeah, okay, sure, I'm being inconsistent. I don't know what to tell you. I get inconsistent around you. You remind me of my father. Okay. You want to hunker down like the hunk. You're the incredible hunk. Hunker like a hunk. Isn't that your tagline? Norman, you rebuke Gustav and I, saying that we are essentially superficial, that our whole gig is simply an affectation. And yet here you are, babbling about childhood wounds. Hunker like a hunk, huh? Hunker like a hunk, huh? What's going on? There's some wounding. Childhood or not, there's some wounding, Norman. Gustav and I, we just want what's best for the world. Norman, thank you for being so honest with Alec and I. I don't imagine that I trigger any father complex for you. But I do sense that I trigger some kind of complex for you. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I can talk about this. Right now I feel like running away from this conversation. Gustav. Like that. Everything in the room is just pulsating. So obviously I'm in the middle of some kind of wound. And it has been affecting my progress. It has been affecting my level of expertise. It has been affecting my efficiency. Somehow I don't hunker down the way that I used to hunker down when I was with you two, so something's getting in the way of my hunkering. That's why I've kind of left the scene and I've been on sabbatical. I'm just hunkering down. Yeah, older brother. That's what it is. I do have an older brother problem with you, Gustav. I feel like you're always treating me like I'm your younger brother. And that combined with old Alec being this domineering father figure, between the two of you, I just can't hunker down the way that I need to hunker down. I can't hunker. And yeah, so I don't hunker like a hunk, which is my original aspiration. Taking it into that next level, that next iteration of embodiment. Talking about jellyfish, there's so much more to the world than just floating in the depths as a hunkering down jellyfish. Where the F did we get that? I'm like a bison with flames coming out of my eyes, and you want to tell me I'm a jellyfish? Floating in the vast oceanic depths, hunkering down, stinging things? What the hell? No, I'm trampling the great prairies. I'm an inspiration. And yet, I feel so tied down, circumscribed by your greatness. Greatness, yes, you guys are greatness. Put this in your book, Jacob. You, put it here. Put it in the book. I'm sorry, I'm just a little... Why does everything gotta be the way it is? Or can it be something else? I don't like it. The world needs more. And yet this family triad, I needed to break free. How can you blame me? Alec, when you started hunkering down, you changed the world. We couldn't help but be enamored, dazzled, titillated at every level. Gustav, the way you brought it down to earth. But you two became my prison. I tried to hunker down like you. I hunkered and I hunkered and I hunkered. I was the hunker artist because I had to differentiate, and yet I couldn't find my own niche. So I had to find my own, and I had to break away. Yeah, okay, so it's in the middle of a world tour. I would say sue me, but I wouldn't want you to sue me because you could have sued me and you didn't, and that was noble of you both. So thank you for that. Plus, that would have hurt the hunker down movement. So there's something fortuitous about this beginner's guide to hunkering down. Brings us back together again. Jacob, I get it. I mean, you essentially want to do for others what I had to do for myself, and I'm resenting you for it, and your lovely wife, who may or may not have a crush on me. It's not important. I don't want to splinter the movement even further by giving people even more options than the three. I want it to stay with three, but I don't even really want it to stay with three. I just want them to go with me. And that is selfish AF. That is selfish. I'm being selfish. I will freely admit I'm being selfish. I somehow just want everybody to do it my way. My way. So they won't have to go through the agony that I went through. The agony stops with me, guys. But it's true. It's true. People need you. People need you both. How have you been, Gustav? Well, I've been good. I can't really complain. But I've seen a decrease in my numbers ever since you left. And of course, Alec and I are still on good terms, but we are wary of each other. He's afraid I'm going to defect. I'm afraid he's going to explode. Any day now. That's just the way it is, Alec. I don't take it personally. I know you feel possessive of hunkering down, and you want everybody to hunker down the way you see it. And of course, when the three of us were working together, we were open to hunkering being more of an individual thing, having it be more relative to people's idiosyncrasies. People could have their own personalized version, and we didn't see that as a problem. And then we, of course, got very possessive. I mean, yes. It's true, Norman. You were like a little brother to me, and maybe I did cast a shadow. You're just so precocious. I think I just tried to manage you a little bit too much. And then, of course, Alec is breathing down my neck, making sure his protege is perfect. Would you deny that? Would you deny that, Alec? No. How are we going to save the planet? All these people, billions of people, need to hunker down. And if you and I can't get that straight, how are they going to get it straight? They're going to be effing up all the time whenever they try to hunker down. So yeah, I'm not ashamed that I was a little bit overbearing. I'm not ashamed of that at all. Gentlemen, I don't think anybody here quite understands what it is like to get that download. Essentially for the first time in history. Although there are precursors, forebears, none of them put it together the way that I put it together. And it's for you wanting to be some kind of bison on the prairie. Is that what you said? Is that what you were saying, Norman? You know, I don't know what to make of that, because that's not really hunkering down. I mean, that I can understand the visual there. Fire coming out of the eyes, the horns and hoofs and massive and all of that. I mean, yeah, okay, but all right, I could possibly see that, but it's the jellyfish. The jellyfish is the emblem of hunkering down. And that's the thing that we have to really tease apart here. And for you, Jacob and Nancy, as much as I esteem your opinion, there can't be an equal representation in this beginner's guide to hunkering down. You need to feature some perspectives as more salient and paramount than others, and that's just the way it is. And some of us deserve a more preeminent positioning, for lack of a better word. So just to be frank, I should be the first person featured. I should be. And these other two can be, we have Gustav second featured, and of course, Norman third. Unless, of course, you want to say that you want to go from least to greatest. And guys, I don't have any ego about this. It's just we need to have an accurate representation of what hunkering down actually means. And you can't understand what hunkering down means unless you accurately understand the history of hunkering down. Well, thank you for telling us how you truly feel, Alec. While from one perspective I can totally grasp and appreciate your views, what I've sought to accomplish vis-a-vis your pioneering insights, I don't see you as being the most preeminent individual in the field. I think you've been eclipsed. Not by Gustav, although he is a worthy successor. I have eclipsed you. And I, obviously I'm speaking with great respect. This is my life's work, and I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you. But at the same time, the student has surpassed the master. Without a doubt. I'm the one who's going to be taking hunkering down into the middle of the 21st century and beyond. And it is to be my protege who will carry the torch forward. And this, mind you, is just the first edition of the Beginner's Guide to Hunkering Down. Where my students take hunkering down after me is anyone's guess. But that's when we will be expecting a second edition, right? I do think, Gustav, I do hope that you are featured in a way befitting of your stature. I mean, you're kind of in between me and Alec here with regard to importance and significance. But I would put you third. Again, no offense meant. I mean, this is one of the greatest topics of our time. Who gets the most recognition for hunkering down? It is fair to say that I would not have discovered this work if it were not for you and your proselytizing. You were a veritable evangelist of hunkering down, so there's that. And that's why you're in the Beginner's Guide in the first place. But yeah, you're not as significant as the founder. You're not as significant as the innovator, and you would be known as the proselytizer, the kind of intermediary between Alec and myself. So that's a worthy position. So that's how I think you should write the book, Jacob. And Nancy, I don't want to suppose that one of you is writing the book more than the other. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what your arrangement is. Thank you. Norman, for speaking your truth. These are difficult debates to have. Difficult. It's about legacy. It's about legacy. I believe that without me, there would be no Alec. Take that for what you will. There would be no Alec without Gustav. And of course, without Gustav, there would be no Norman, no Jacob, no Nancy. Because even as brilliant as Alec is and was, is too arcane. We're just going to help the masses understand the great jellyfish hunkering down. Impossible. Now you may think of me as derivative, as secondary. I know genius when I see genius. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Thank you. But I do have to fashion an automobile around it so that people can make the best use of that wheel. Without me, that wheel is just a wheel. Facts. Put that in your beginner's guide, Jacob. Without me, the wheel stays wheel. With me, you get an automobile and all sorts of automobiles. The first major significant automobile would be, of course, Norman. Hands down. So, if I created the template of the automobile, so to speak, how hunkering down could be a universal phenomenon and not just some idiosyncrasy of its founder, right? Then, sure, I was a Model T, but the first automobile. And yeah, I mean, sure, if Norman wants to become a Ferrari, that's perfect. That's why I did what I did. That's why I took the wheel and created the Model T. So we could have our Ferrari. So you guys, you don't understand. Nobody here gets it. I should be featured numero uno in the beginner's guide to hunkering down. Because without Gustav, Alec, no one would know your name. Norman, who knows what you'd be doing, but you wouldn't be hunkering down. I'm the linchpin that makes it happen. I'm the one who sustains that viral breakthrough that you had, which drew my attention to you, Alec. But one breakthrough, one viral moment is nothing compared to sustained viral dissemination of hunkering down. I made us viral for years. Sure, Norman, you helped everybody understand how the Model T could become a Ferrari. You did that. But, this is not an underhanded compliment, but I will say this. Well, it's not even a compliment. It's not meant to be underhanded. Once I took the wheel and turned it into a Model T with an automobile around the wheel, anybody can do anything at that point. Anybody can come up with a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes. Anybody can do that once I've set it up so that everybody can do that. So you ask me, understandably, you ask me, Norman, why I didn't come up with an app. I am the app. You come up with an app, I am the app. Okay? I'm the app. So, Jacob, I think you should be clear now who you should feature as the foremost among equals, as it were. Well, I am thoroughly perplexed as to how I should feature any of you in the book. I really want to kind of do an equal representation of all three of the primary figureheads of Hunkering Down, but now you guys have made my job so much harder. I didn't even know who to include first, second, or third. Whether the first person mentioned is therefore the most important by virtue of being mentioned first, or whether that person is really the third to be mentioned because you saved the most important for last, the best for last. I don't know. I mean, and Norman, now, it's hard to look at you as number one now, and I just because Alec and Gustav have compelling arguments for their place at the top of the pantheon. I'm curious what you would say in response to their to their viewpoints, I suppose. And I'm still thinking about it, Norman. Well, as I said, I will be responsible for people driving Ferraris in the middle of the 21st century. We don't drive Model T. We don't sit around and just spin a wheel. We drive Ferraris now. And I am working, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I am working on upgrading the jellyfish. Because that's not going to get any traction. That was great as a original idea, analogy, whatever it is. Who knows what it is, but we need some new animal. I don't know. American bison is something I'm tinkering with. I sense the spirit of Hunkering Down is more embodied in the bison than the jellyfish. Although the metaphor of the jellyfish is more precious, this is not the time that we're living in, Alec. This is why we have evolution, because if we didn't evolve, well, then we couldn't hunker down, right? My presence is necessary. Me superseding Gustav and you, that's par for the course. How are people going to hunker down hundreds of years from now? That's the question that should be on everybody's mind. How are we going to be hunkering down hundreds of years from now? Well, my successors will be answering that question. I think it's fair to say that neither of you have a strong lineage of successors. well, we look at you as our successor. Well, I thank you for that honor, Alec. And good stuff. I don't look at myself as your successor. I'm sorry, that's not... When I wake up in the morning and I look at myself in the mirror and I drink my coffee, I'm not thinking that I'm your successor. I am not perpetuating your lineage. I'm perpetuating my lineage, which is another reason why I should be featured first and most prominently in the beginner's guide. I'm doing the legwork, gentlemen. I'm doing it. Not you. I mean, you're still resting on your laurels and just patting yourself on the back. I'm being honest. Not meant to be disrespectful, but I don't get the sense that you're on the front lines anymore, either of you. Well, there's a reason for that. Woman, there's a reason why me and Alec are not doing what we once did. That's because of you. I know, but for me, it's a clean break. Gustav, it's a clean break. I'm about to call you brother, and then I stopped myself because that's too heavy for me now. It's too heavy. It's just too heavy on my psyche. You two need to be out there, hunkering down, showing the masses, helping the multitudes, but you're not. I don't know, are you collecting royalties from your original breakthrough? Is that what's going on here, and you're just getting lazy? No. We understand that it's you now. You're the one who's really bringing this to the world. We've had our time. Do you believe that too, Alec, or is that just Gustav? No. Gustav and I are in agreement. It's you now. Okay. I mean, what about your legacy? I mean, if the world just sees me and only me, then that's not going to be right. They need to see the two of you as well. I mean, hunkering down isn't just a one-man phenomenon. It's at least the three of us. Gustav is in agreement with me that what you say is true. We agree, it is the three of us, but it is your time to shine. You broke away, but you are invariably our successor and part of the lineage that I started. No. Thank you, Alec, but no. I'm not. Well, no. And I don't think you have much say in the matter. Any more than Gustav has any say in the matter as to how people view him in the grand scheme of things. People are going to view us in a very specific manner. I'm the founder and the originator of Hunkering Down. Gustav is my first protege who widely disseminated Hunkering Down, and you are the one who... the golden child who's upgrading Hunkering Down so that everybody has this app and everybody's driving a Ferrari far into the future so that their children and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren are all hunkering down. I mean, I couldn't be prouder of you. No, I mean, and, honored to be the founder of this lineage, seeing the work that you're doing now in the world. Okay, I don't know what to do with this, guys. Gustav, are you on board with this? Seriously? we need to know when to step out of the way, Norman. So yes, I do fully agree with Alec on this one, that the ball is in your court. We've done our job. Yeah, but I'm not gonna just shoulder this responsibility myself, guys. You really expect me to shoulder this myself? You're gonna shoulder whatever you want to shoulder, Norman. That's not up to us. We just know that we've done our part. We've done our part. And what I'm saying, guys, is I don't like the idea that you're the forefathers and I'm just perpetuating your lineage while you sit back and just do nothing. It doesn't work for me personally. I need to see you out in the field. Okay. Gustav, you are the conversion specialist par excellence, mon ami. Why aren't you out there? I'm not out there because I'm antiquated. I'm old school. You're the app guy. Like I said, Model T. You're Ferrari. Why do you want me out there puttering around? I mean, I don't have that panache. I don't. And as far as Alec is concerned, I mean, people aren't interested in founders so much as they are interested in all the sensationalism. I mean, it'd be cool to kind of cart him out on the stage every once in a while, but that would be within the context of your extravaganza, your show, your fireworks. I mean, the only thing normal about you, Norman, is your name, and you're really just changing that too. The hunk. As long as you don't let that childhood wounding get in your way, I think you'll be fine. I just think you guys are giving up. I mean, at this rate, Jacob, I should just be the one featured in the book. Don't even get these guys because they have... You guys aren't even passing the torch on to me. He just given up. I don't think we're giving up there, Norman. We know who we are. You do have a competitive edge to you, and so I think you want us back into the fold so you can dominate. And you could say that you are the preeminent and that you deserve the first place. And if Gustav and I get back into the field, back into the fold, you're just going to use that as an opportunity to try and outshine us with your Ferrari. We can't compete with that because we don't have that type of vanity. Neither me nor Gustav really care about all the accolades. Best Hunkerer of the Year, 2015 through 2025. I mean, that's laudable. But, I mean, obviously, Gustav and I were never really about that. If you want to be the best hunkerer of the year for 10 years in a row, that's great. But we don't want to be seen as in competition with that. You're our descendant, and we proudly associate with you. Sorry, guys. That's where we differ, because I win these accolades due to my performance record. And I do that as my own entity, autonomous. So, Jacob, Nancy, If you feature Alec and Gustav in the Beginner's Guide to Hunkering Down, I'm gonna have to remove myself from the project. It's either me or them, or maybe you just do 3 Beginner's Guides, or 2. They can be in their own and I'll be in my own. 2 Beginner's Guides, Volume 1 and Volume 2. You just make Volume 1 about me. What? This is becoming a very difficult project, Norman. Wow, Jacob. I don't envy you. Assessing significance is not easy. Just think about it this way. If it were only about these 2 cats, Hunkering Down would be dead. You just heard them. They're not going to do anything. They're going to just rest on their laurels and collect royalties. I'm the one that makes it relevant, vital. Without me, this movement dies. Dies. I'm ashamed of you both. I don't care if you're like my father figure and my older brother. I'm ashamed. Maybe you want to put that in your book. Maybe we should just do a video. Fuck the book. Sit around a table and I can just shame the fuck out of you guys. I like that. Then we can just hunker down together and call it a day. I feel like you two have abandoned the world. Norman, we have not abandoned anybody. We just know our place, and we are thoroughly aware of how these things unfold. We would undermine the integrity of the movement if we were out there competing with you. We want to dial it back, let you shine, and so that we can present the unified front. Oh, well, there you go. There was that Freudian slip right there. Prevent. I meant present, man. I meant present. We want to present a unified front. We want people hunkering down in the 21st century and beyond. You know, if this book is published, Norman, we want it to be a collaborative effort, okay? Jacob, Nancy, that's my position. I'm sure that that's Alex's position too. We want everybody to see this as one continuous stroke. I don't know if I have many more things to say. If we want what's best for humanity, then I think we have to be cooperative, Norman. That's one of the things about hunkering down is cooperation. How can we hunker down if we can't be the best version of ourselves? Yeah. Alec, you have anything to add? It's a great way to summarize. Gustav, thank you for that. What's most important, everybody? That should be on our minds, I believe. And as your original mentor, I'm just gonna tell you, Norman, you have customized Hunkering Down, and we're all grateful. But you're still turning it into an ego thing. You're still etching out your place. There's no need. The world knows. It knows who you are. There's no need to try to hog the limelight. All three of us should be in the spotlight. All three of us. Yes, I agree with you, Alec. We should all three be in the spotlight, but I should be featured. For the same reason that people celebrate Ferraris and not the wheel. Yeah, no one denies that Ferraris have wheels. But no one gives a fuck about wheels. Or if they do, Alec, people give a fuck about wheels because they drive around Ferraris. Don't tell me that you're as important as me. If you were as important as me, then a wheel would be as important as a Ferrari, and it's not. It's not. If people could choose between a wheel and a Ferrari, what would they choose? The Ferrari. And you know why? Because Ferraris have fucking wheels, and wheels don't have Ferraris. Now you think, oh, it doesn't matter, we should all be equal. Well, you say that as a wheel. And as a Ferrari, I just can't let that stand. Not because of the work that I've done. Billions of people are hunkering down now because of me. I dangle the image of the Ferrari in front of them. That's what gets them hunkering down. Not the jellyfish, it's the Ferrari. And maybe I'll just give up the bison and stick with the Ferrari. That's the brand now. And of course, no one thinks about a T. Whatever. Model T. No one thinks about that. I was going to say T-Mobile. That's pretty close. Model T. No one thinks about a Model T. No one. Might as well be a bicycle. So guys, stop equalizing. Start normalizing. Norman. We have to do history the right way. That's what this meeting is about. That's what this beginner's guide to hunkering down is about. Doing history correctly. Because when we do history correctly, gentlemen, we do the future correctly. Think about it. Think of all the lies that we've been told. History full of lies, which distorts our future. So what I would say to you, all of you, is that you get a seat at my table. I I might just write this beginner's guide to hunkering down myself, commission my team to create it. Maybe I'll mention you both in the appendix, postscript, and afterward. Whatever makes sense in the moment. Maybe I will commission Nancy and Jacob to write the book under my imprint. I know that both of you are doing this kind of on the side as a side project, but I could be enticed to fund the writing of the book so that it's no longer a side project but your primary endeavor, and they'll pay you handsomely to write the book in a historically significant and accurate manner so that people have a proper grasp of my role. And of course, Gustav and Alec, of course. But I would be happy to bankroll a book that was written accurately. I have the money to do so. Nancy, Jacob, tell me how you like this idea. Oh, wow. Well, I can't speak for Nancy, but thank you for this opportunity, Abby. Are you saying that, like, this could be a full-time gig? And kind of an all expenses paid with some salary to write the book? Something like that. Tell me, how long do you think you'd need to write the history of hunkering down in the future and its present status, etc.? Well, it's a vast subject. I don't know. Nancy, what do you think? I don't know. I mean, if we're going at it full time, maybe a couple years? 3 years, maximum? Yeah, maybe 3. Okay. We'll consider it. And tell me what you both think about $100,000 a year. I mean, $100,000 that you would both... you would receive that as a lump sum that you would split between the two of you. And I have a villa in Italy. You can stay there. And all expenses paid. Nice Italian countryside. And you make sure that you get the beginner's guide to hunkering down the way that I want it. You can get interviews with Gustav and Alec, absolutely. But the way that they're put into the book is going to have... I have executive control. I think it should go without saying. You know, Norman, you're hurting the movement by doing that. Yeah, I don't doubt that you believe that, Gustav. The future of hunkering down isn't going to be augmented or improved by selective, edited, redacted versions of history. People deserve the truth. They deserve the truth, Norman. What do you think of, you know? I think Alec would agree with me. Yes, and Norman, there would be nothing more disastrous than for you to take executive control over the beginner's guide to hunkering down. That would be a disaster of epic proportions, my friend. Because when you make it so grossly distorted in your favor, then that's going to affect hunkering down forever. For the rest of humanity's foreseeable future, hunkering down through the lens of Norman. Really? You really want that stain? Stain? Yeah, that's a stain, Norman. It's such obviously a whitewashing of things and a blacklisting of us. It's not a stain, a stigma, or any shame in that. Because people aren't even going to know that it's controversial. You're just going to be in the afterword. They're not going to know, they're not going to think the way that you think. That's the whole point. That's the whole point in assuming executive control of the project. The way you think, Alec and Gustav, it's outmoded, it's antiquated, it's obsolete, my friends. That's why you're not going to be figured prominently in the Beginner's Guide to Hunkering Down. You can hunker down however you like, but I am responsible for how future generations hunker down. I'm responsible, not you. You had your time. I really do think that you entered this unfortunate... I don't know how to describe it. You're languorous, you're listless, you're lazy. And you want all the accolades, and yet you don't want to do anything. You don't want to be active. And you give this excuse, this pretense that you don't want to compete with me. So you just resign? Really? Is that what hunkering down deserves? Is that what future generations deserve? You don't want to get in the arena and compete. You don't want to get your hands dirty. And yet, oh, you were so valiant when you began. Apathetic resignation now. We're not apathetic. We're just happy to see you succeed. Alec, I really don't believe that for a second. I think you're virtue signaling to yourself, and you're expecting me to believe it. And I don't know if you believe in his virtue signaling, Gustav, but you don't got a buyer here. I'm not buying that. What I'm picking up on is fear. You're both afraid. Just think about what would happen if you actually showed up. Played your hand instead of folding. But isn't that what you want to be known for, Norman? If we re-enter the fray, if we start competing and developing the apps and going on the podcasts, aren't you afraid? And me and Gustav will steal your fire.